Hey everybody, Dan here for Argo Comics. As you know, I do these monthly hauls to show what indie comics I am picking up and to show that I'm not just producing indie comics, I do support indie comics. I have a couple stacks. This is the first stack, but there's no reason to freak out because we are going to get to them all, and let us do that without further ado. Now, I would be remiss in not starting off with the fact that I do have a Kickstarter going on, and it's not Argo Comics. So this is, okay, and here's the proof. Okay, I'll show this first. Thunderzone. Okay, that is an imprint of Argo Comics. This is actually a proof of the first Thunderzone release. So this will get you in on the ground floor. Nature Man, which is a revitalization of the public domain character Nature Boy, created in 1956 by Jerry Siegel, Superman's co-creator, and John Buscema, famous Conan artist. So again, this is Nature Man because 1956 has been a while back, and it wouldn't make sense to call him Nature Boy anymore. Plus, if I did call him Nature Boy, all I would hear all day is "woo," and who wants that? So anyway, Nature Man, just like Nature Boy, calls upon his power from this mythological grouping of deities, actually created, except for Neptune, all created by Jerry Siegel. So I won't get into all of them. Zilson Costa as doing the artwork, Giuseppe Pica doing the colors. It's a fantastic combination. Luis Diaz did the lettering, and really just super pleased with how this came out. And again, if you like public domain characters or just man at a time type superhero, this will be the one for you. Now, in the subject of Argo Comics, I did have, and it's still summer, so it's still time to get it, the Law and Order Summer Special. Again, people may know Law and Order from Argo Comics. She is the pint-sized police liaison between superheroes and the police departments. So she acts as an intermediary between those two. And as you can see here on this cover, she's having a little hard time getting in on the carnival rides. And Leo, or actually, no, Milton Esteban did the art on this. And I'm thinking Leo Gundam is doing the art on Argo 5 right now. Milton Esteban did the art. Perea Pillai did the colors. And George Vieira did the letters. I had written this one. And again, you have this cover here by Rafael Dantas Gomez, colored by Perea Pillai. And you have the Bill Mouse copper toned cover, and that is colored by Giuseppe Pica. So yeah, both those covers. As far as actually the Kickstarter campaign, I'll add that in the show notes, as well as the link for the Law and Order special. And there'll be a link, of course, to all the Argo comics. Okay, now moving along. Argo related in the fact that Bill Mouse does Sorority of Power for Argo Comics, but his original creation being Near X, I was able to get this trade paperback, even though I have the individual issues. I was able to get this trade paperback of previous Nera X issues. So it's a hefty read here. Bill Mouse, his artwork, among my top 10 artists there. Just love his work. Thrilled that we do Sorority of Power for Argo Comics together. I guess Nera X kind of spun off a little bit out of Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Okay. So this is Nera's new home. We also have Nera X Reborn, which is a comic size. This again, trade paperback, Nera X Cyber Angel. And then we have, this is Nera X Reborn. Okay. Committed Comics has been putting these out. Oh, we got some ordering information right on the back. You could kind of freeze frame that, I guess, and get the ordering information. Again, I believe Bill's doing the whole deal, maybe with, yes, well, there's a pinup art by Cat Mouse. Sometimes Cat Mouse is his assistant. But let's just give you a peek into something not too spoilery. There's a nice splash page there of Nera X's evil counterpart. So I'll highly recommend both these books, and you can look them up with Committed Comics. Now, Kickstarter books, okay? Aside from having my own Kickstarter, I support Kickstarters, and I got this double book from Genuine Comics, Dream Girl, and Ajax Awakening. I mentioned Leo Gundam before, doing Argo 5. He also drew Ajax Awakening here. Let's see. Dream Girl. David Brink is writing it, I know that much. Jim Jimenez doing the pencils. Eder Messias doing some pencils. King Bolas, Greek colorist, doing the colors. Letters HDE. Again, give you a little preview of the art. Kind of very, somewhat a Top Cow style. Very cool art. Colors, letters, the whole deal was very nice. Let's see, and actually, this is Dream Girl, but there was a guest starring spot with Ajax. Okay. There's a print that came with it. Okay, Ajax and Dream Girl in that print. There was a print by Leo Gundam. Well, a bunch of stickers and stuff like that. Gonna regret taking this out of the bag, but I wanted to show you some of the work. A little bit of a, again, nothing too spoilery. Actually read both of them. They're great stories. Ajax kind of went back and forth between these two radio or podcast hosts. They were discussing the adventure as it went along, and the characters. And again, as you can see, art is, I know this art's been previewed already, so that's not a spoil. Of course, Leo Gundam, fantastic artist, which is why I had him come aboard as the regular artist of Argo 5. I believe it's 37 that starts, issue 37, or 38. 37 might be the last issue before Leo's run, and I think that's the one we might have being lettered right now. But again, oh, and Dream Girl's kind of like, she goes into the dreamscape, and I guess these monsters are in the dreamscape, and they're kind of coming out now. So, again, it's not a typical story. It's nicely done. And again, I'd recommend both of those. And Plan B, Furious Monkey Fist, Plan B number 2. Okay, I had Plan B number 1. And the group, the Four Horsemen, are in this. I thought at first when I bought issue 1 that they were called Plan B, as in like they are Plan B with Four Horse Femmes. That's the other title. Four Horse Femmes I thought might be considered Plan A, but they're actually the Four Horsemen. Um, and yeah, Stuart Black, I believe, does everything in this. Oop, you get a little, yeah, he has a little roll call showing that they're the Four Horsemen, and then who's who. Primeval, Bulk, Ninja, and Milt. And I really like Bulk. Actually, Primeval's pretty cool as well. I mean, the overall, it's a great book. Um, again, something that's not too spoilery. Yeah, Stuart does great art. He does great writing because he knows when not to include words. His pacing, I'll say, is just very good and inventive, as is the dialogue and the personalities of the character. And I like the art a lot. So overall, uh, I highly recommend Plan B. Um, Plan B, as well as my own Argo comics, are all at INDYPLANET. So a good number of these books actually today are INDYPLANET. So you could always go to INDYPLANET and find a lot of these indie books. And you can combine shipping. Like I don't have to send a shipping payment to Stuart and then a shipping payment to 5 other publishers. I can get them all there. I know I'm going to get them because INDYPLANET won't list them unless they have the files. So the packing is excellent, which I can assure everyone again. Uh, my books for the Kickstarter, as well as INDYPLANET, goes directly from the printer to you. They pack them up very well, so that really cuts down on anyone saying, "Oh, I got a messed up copy." Because I'll tell you, for a while there, sometimes it seemed like Kickstarter for me was like the home of the $20 damaged comic, and I make sure that's not happening with mine. There are other great publishers who make sure it doesn't happen with theirs. Um, but again, I've gotten a couple that were just in a one within a regular envelope, not even cardboard, bagged board, nothing, and that was actually on a previous haul. But okay, going back to again INDYPLANET, I had gotten, let's see, Formidables number 5. Okay, Oniric Comics Group, or Oniric, one of those. Oniric. Maybe it's Oniric. This is Formidables number 5. Okay. You can see a little Chris Malgrain does, I believe, everything in this. But you can see kind of like a John Byrne influence. Chris has been on a streak lately, doing a bunch of people's characters in a kind of Bronze Age style. Okay, he actually did a Nature Man for me. Um, let's see. He's on the cover, so this isn't spoiling it. Kind of like an obvious Galactus homage. Okay. I have to say, I'm just loving Formidables. Actually, anything Chris puts out, you're guaranteed quality. Um, and he also has Tales of the Formidables, which I think are kind of like solo stories of the different characters. But in this respect, um, Chris does not do all the art, and then he spreads the love there and has some other artists doing some work with his characters, which I'm familiar with because I drew Argo 5, #1, and then it's been collaborations ever since. Which, if you want to have a bigger output, it's hard to do it all yourself and make it, past a certain number of issues, especially per year. Um, and in actuality, I had rotated artists. Some artists would do like #4 and then #12 and then #18. And I rotated artists throughout Argo 5. Leo, even though he's been, as you can see with some of these other books, particularly busy, he had a good pace. And I was able to, again, working ahead of time now, have him on as the regular artist, getting stuff done. Um, and having one artist for a while. So there'll be a stretch of issues just with him. Okay, so again, these are both at INDYPLANET, and they are both highly recommended. Now, here's a bunch of indie books. One of them isn't even indie yet. Where is it? Yeah. Maybe I'll hit that one. Two of these are actually, because Vertigo, I don't know if you count Vertigo as indie. And in actuality, going back to Thunderzone, that is an imprint of Argo Comics. So it's kind of like Vertigo is um, for DC, but I will be publishing other people's creator-owned projects. So in that respect, it's a little bit like Image, perhaps, but like I said, it's an imprint of Argo Comics. So I just want people to know, with the Thunderzone books, you'll be able to trust, as you have with Argo Comics for the last like 13 years or so of publishing. You could trust that Thunderzone will come through for people as well. But okay, um, I went on a John Lucas tear, trying to find some books that had slipped past me, because I don't know, we're Facebook friends. I actually met him at a convention, got a great pinup that's in Sorority of Power. But what happens is, if you're not commenting on someone's page regularly, somehow they get kind of shuffled out of your newsfeed, which happened with John. He completed a number of things that got past me. So then I went now hunting them down, and chief among them perhaps is the Four Norsemen of the Apocalypse. Okay, this is Matthew Sturgis doing the writing, John Lucas doing the art, and he's really okay. It's a bit of a cartoony element to his style. I can't even really point out anyone in particular that's going to be a direct influence on the art, but just trying to show some art that was kind of like not very dynamic or anything. Oops. Let's see. Gonna do one more here. Some preview of the art. Okay, John's just a fantastic artist. Which, again, in his past work that I've seen, always loved it. And that's what, when I happened to come across his page again, I said, let me catch up with everything. So, okay, we have this Four Norsemen of the Apocalypse, put out by Devil's Due First. Okay, you remember these guys from way back. First Comics, so Devil's Due, I guess, took up the First Comics imprint. And again, going out of indie, this might be the first time we go outside of indie in the indie hall. We had, oh, well, no, actually, yeah, the Vertigo one will be a little bit outside. This is actually IDW. Thought it was DC for a second. IDW put out Love is Love, and John had a brilliant page of Superboy in this one, which I really love this little excerpt he did here. But there's a whole bunch of fantastic names in this book that everyone does just a page or two. Mike McCone, I know, is in here, and he's always a favorite. But yeah, like I said, for the most part, Jim Lee, most of them are just doing. I know Philomena's is in here as well. They're mostly just doing 1 or 2 pages. But again, that had John Lucas, and again, this is Vertigo, Strange Sports. This had John Lucas in it as well. And also, everyone knows I love Love and Rockets. Gilbert Hernandez is in here as well. So again, here we go, John Lucas. Okay, so he's in this one, and a couple books here. Let me just, I think they came out with, let me just see if I see a year on the back of these. No. Well, we have After Houdini, and we have Before Houdini. I mean, theoretically, you think Before Houdini comes out first. I'm getting the feeling that perhaps After Houdini came out first. But, yeah, I don't see a year. I'll find out before I read them, though. But we do have credits, right? Let's get some credits. Written by Jeremy Holt, illustrated by John Lucas, colors by Adi Crosa, lettered by Larger World Studio. So, of course, this will be following the story I'm imagining of Harry Houdini. But there, John Lucas, as I told you, is catching up. So I picked these up. These are InsightComics.com. Let's see. Trying to show you some of the non-spoilery art. So, again, that was a big chunk of John Lucas books I was missing. Now we have them. Let me just get this going. All right. Now, another Kickstarter. The Advocator Presents Summer Edition. Okay, so let's see. Project Manager Travis Gibb. Editor Chuck Pinu. Advocate Rob Anderson, who written Sins, and he does a lot of work promoting indie comics. I think Travis works with him in that, and they have the Advocator, and they promote different Kickstarters and such. Additional production, Joel Rodriguez. So this is kind of like a, you can see right here, an anthology with a lot of different a lot of different concepts and creators working on this. So I felt it'd be a good one to check out, and you can do the same by just checking out the Advocator and the Facebook groups. All right. Let's see. Well, save these for last. We'll go over here. All right. I know Gabriel Dill, and he has this Aspyre comics, and this is Radiance from Aspyre. Okay. Let's see. We got writer Gabriel Dill Sr. Okay, now there's art and inks by a couple different artists here, Katie Jeter and Gilbert Monsanto, who people may know from, he has a popular Facebook group with the arena where he draws your characters. Then your characters kind of go into a battle for votes, and then he will draw an additional cover or a little story or something with the winning characters. So that's always a great thing to check out. That's the arena with Gilbert Monsanto. Back to Radiance though, colors Kacha Luo and Christy Swan, lettering Josh Shelton and Blambot, editor Gabriel Dill Sr., cover Katie Jeter. Okay, so Radiance. Actually, yeah, Gabriel put out Blue Jay, and I think Tales of Power was the other title. So, I kind of keep up with what he's doing. A little look at the artwork. A little shot to the groin there, it appears. So they always say in boxing, no low blows. She did not know about that. And a little more actiony type of art towards the back. Okay, so picked that up at INDYPLANET. Picked these two up at INDYPLANET. Bubblegum Jane, which is kind of like an elastic woman. Issue 2 had her villain, I guess, on the cover. Oops. Bubblegum Jane. I had bought number 1 already, so they had a remastered edition, I guess you'd say. Bubblegum Jane is an elastic superheroine. Art is very good, and lettering and colors, the whole production value looks good. I guess there aren't many elastic women out there. I could perhaps hear, let's see, hold on here. A little more art. Okay. Just giving you an idea of what the art looks like. And yeah, issue 1 and 2 are both out, so you could check them out. Also at INDYPLANET, I was able to pick up, okay, and I had 1 and 2 in my hauls, now 3. Dead End Club, Chakal, I think is how it's pronounced. Chakal Studios put this out to Chakal Art. Okay, and I think actually the producer of this was a pro wrestler. And yeah, I enjoyed 1 and 2. So that's the proof that you need right there, is the fact that I'm back for issue 3. And I think the art is very well done. I believe Chakal there does, oops, yeah, he pretty much does the whole thing. Um, and I will give you a look. Um, let's see. Trying not to drop all the books and trying to show you a little bit of art to show you the art style. Like I said, I like the art and colors. Actually, I guess the characters here have a boss who's said Law and Order was pint sized, and so is their boss here in this book. Um, she's of the vertically challenged shorty category. Um, Nothing wrong with that. That's why I have Law and Order as a very short character, because again, to have every guy 6'2" and every female 5'7", it's kind of unrealistic. So I like that there's a variety um, in heights and body types sometimes in these comics. There's more art, just to give you a look at the art. Again, I would recommend this book because I bought number 3, having liked 1 and 2. Another INDYPLANET book printed at Kablam. So if you're following along, there's been a good number of INDYPLANET books that you can pop over to INDYPLANET, including these, which sometimes are higher priced elsewhere. Some people on eBay are chucking these up for some good money, but you can pretty much get a good deal on them all at INDYPLANET. What am I talking about? Steve Mannion's Fearless Dawn. Okay, Fearless Dawn. We got Secret of the Swamp. These are all done by Steve Mannion. I have a number of them already, but again, the books kind of just somehow get past you. So even though I enjoy his work, I was missing a couple. So did I silence this? Let's silence that again. At any rate, we had this one, Hard Times. Fearless Dawn 0. Fearless Dawn number 2, all pencil issue. So he's a experimental artist to some degree because there's a lot of different mediums that he uses throughout all these books. Fearless Dawn number 1. Fearless Dawn art book, and you can see it's a blank cover, so I'm thinking this is more designed for a convention and priced a little higher because I'm guessing one purchase from Steve at a convention that this blank gets filled up. So maybe if I am going to a convention where he's going to be at, maybe I'll bring that and I'll do a doodle on the cover. Helga's Story. And here is Outer Space Special. Okay, and I guess Mannion's style could be looked at as a maybe good girl, you'd say, kind of like in the context of Frank Cho or Adam Warren doing that type of work. But again, in this issue, you'll see black and white and inks. We had that all pencil issue I showed you, and here's one that's fully colored. So again, these different books will have think he does a good amount of watercolor. This might be watercolor plus colored pencil. And being an art fan, as I am, there's more ink work, pencil work. So I enjoy his work. Picked all those up again at INDYPLANET. A couple oversized books. Okay, Twomorrows Publishing puts out Alter Ego, and found this to be a kind of like an interesting issue to pick up. I think on their recommendation. Let's see. Hold on. I think he should have a yeah. Yeah, here's his, I was going to say, on recommendation of Michael T. Gilbert, creator of Mr. Monster. I think I saw him posting about, this is dedicated to this character, Peter Cannon. There's a number of letters that Peter Cannon's creator, Pete Morrissey, had written with a fan. So it kind of gives you his look into, look at this. In this issue, I randomly open up to this page with a Nature Boy pinup. Well, this is actually Nature Boy cover. Okay, that was a cover of one of the issues of Nature Boy. Nature Boy ran from issue 3 to issue 5. I explained that in another video already. That's the cover to Nature Boy number 3. And I think I did flip through this book, and again, it was just in one of their letters. I hope I didn't say emails, because back then there was no email. They were doing handwritten letters, and in one of the letters, I guess they were discussing Charlton, and I think the fan had mentioned Nature Boy as one of the Charlton characters, and I think Thunderbolt, Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt's creator, hadn't heard of him. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with Alter Ego, it's kind of like, it's supposed to be somewhat of a professionally made fanzine. So it usually goes into a lot of silver, golden, silver, and Bronze Age material. Like maybe concentrating more on silver. Michael T. Gilbert does have a regular column in this. Roy Thomas puts it out, and actually this article is about Roy Thomas being on the set of Daredevil, the Netflix TV show. So again, comes out regularly. You can always check out Alter Ego. Twomorrows Publishing. It has mainstream distribution, so you can easily find it. I talked about Gilbert Hernandez before. Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez, 11 Rockets. Okay, this is, does it have an issue number? I know, book 8. So the magazine size, they've gone back and forth between magazine and comic size. They started out magazine size, went a little bit comic size, and this is actually Jaime on the cover here, and Gilbert on the back. I think I mentioned before that not a lot of writers that I follow, okay, who can consistently hit it out of the park. Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez are among that small number. Actually, Michael T. Gilbert, who we mentioned with Mr. Monster and writing the article for Alter Ego, he's one of my favorite writers as well. Even though, there's a good amount that he does somewhat comical, but when the chips are down and he wrote the Mist Monster Origins. That was a great piece of writing in itself. So again, we have the Love and Rockets. I buy every issue. Um, these two brothers have different styles. That's Jaime. That's Gilbert. But again, if you're like a big two comic buyer, you're probably not going to get the genius that is on their pages um, without a closer inspection than me just showing you on the camera. All right. This is a collection of Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot. I know I have this in some form previous, but they had it collected here, and it was actually a Saturday morning cartoon at one point. And again, that was back when they played cartoons in Saturday morning, towards the tail end of that era where that was being done, because that was for decades. But towards the tail end, Big Guy and Rusty the Robot by Jeff Darrow, or Frank Miller and Jeff Darrow. Frank Miller being a great writer himself as well. So this was a great series with insanely detailed art. I just did not want to ruin the book. Just maybe a little bit, if you want to get some perspective on it, a little bit towards like a George Perez meets Arthur Adams type of thing going on. Just fantastic work. I don't even know. Nah, it's not really getting. I just don't want to snap the binding opening this thing up. All right, and talking of Treasury editions, this was a Treasury, Image Treasury, giant-sized Kung Fu Bible stories. And talking about Adam Warren, who I mentioned before, Adam Warren, his character Empowered is in this. Talking about Arthur Adams, there's some Arthur Adams pinups that are in this, and at this oversized format, you can really dig your teeth into some of those pinups. Adam Warren's Empowered is one of my favorites to read as well. Try to see with these oversized books, it's a little harder to get it towards the camera. Yeah, who else is involved in this? We got Bruce Timm, Adam Warren, Tom Scully, Ryan Otley, Eric Larson. I mean, this is quite Andy Kuhn. Yeah, quite a lineup of talent. And it's treasury sized, which again, I've been around long enough to have treasury editions from when they came out. So there is a drawer, comics drawer big enough for this. It's some Eric Larson work in there. And that's going to do it. Again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Nature of Man Kickstarter. Again, the link is on the bottom below. But other than that, we'll have some more issues of Argo 5 coming out from Argo Comics. Just a quick, Argo Comics update for you. And, you can keep coming back to the channel here for more news on Argo Comics. If there's any information that people need, there's comments on the YouTube postings, so you can always leave your comments below and I can get to them. But that's going to do it. A lot of indie books, we got through it, and I'll be coming back next month to show you what else I've picked up.